August 18, 1966, the Vietnam jungle was completely silent. 6. Australian soldiers were hidden in the deep shadows of the jungle, and in front of their eyes was a sight that could chill the blood of even the most trained soldier. Below among the rubber plantation, more than 600 Viet Cong fighters had gathered completely unaware, completely at ease. They had no idea at all that they had already become prey. What was about to happen in the next 14 minutes would not just destroy a single unit. It would permanently change the rules of jungle warfare. And the most surprising part was that those 6 Australians would not fire a single bullet. The air was so hot and heavy, it felt like breathing underwater. The temperature was above 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and the humidity made everything sticky. The jungle itself seemed soaked in sweat. 6 soldiers from 3 Squadron Special Air Service regiments sat under a canvas shelter, checking their weapons one last time. The sun had not fully risen yet, and their uniforms were already drenched with sweat. The smell of gun oil, red earth, and rotting jungle mixed together in the air. These 6 men were about to step into the jungle, and within the next day, what they would do would render an entire enemy regiment combat ineffective. In just 14 minutes, but at that moment, they did not know it. All they knew was that somewhere in the jungle hundreds of Viet Cong fighters were gathering, preparing for a major attack. The patrol commander was an experienced sergeant who had seen jungle war in Malaya. He understood the jungle. He knew the jungle could hide an entire army or swallow a single man without a trace. With him were 5 soldiers, all SAS qualified, having survived some of the hardest training in the world. Most of them had already served in Vietnam. For the past 2 weeks, they had been living continuously in the jungle, moving slowly, silently, watching and listening. This was the Australian way, not the American way. Intelligence reports said that D-445 Battalion and the 275 Viet Cong Regiment were gathering in the eastern jungle, roughly 600 to 800 fighters. If this force attacked the Australian base together, even 4500, Australian troops could be in serious trouble because they were spread out across different areas. The sergeant studied the map again. To the east, the long, high hills rose, thick jungle so dense that even at midday, the ground below stayed dark. Trees were so close together that in many places, you had to move sideways. Vines hung like curtains. The ground was a mix of red clay and rotting leaves, silent but slippery. Somewhere in the distance, thunder rolled, maybe monsoon, maybe B-52 bombers. You could never really tell the difference. Each soldier carried an SLR or M16 Claymore mines grenades and loaded magazines. The weight pressed down on their shoulders, but that same weight was also protection. Every bullet was a thin line between life and death. These Viet Cong were no longer simple guerrillas. D-445 was a trained main force battalion. With mortar recoilless rifles and experienced fighters, the 275 Regiment had already won major battles before. The jungle was their home. Americans sent companies into the jungle. 30, 50, sometimes 100 soldiers. Fast movement, lots of noise, helicopter support. Their goal was contact body count action. But in the jungle, noise meant warning. By the time Americans arrived, the enemy had vanished. Australians had learned something different in Malaya and Borneo. In the jungle, victory belongs to the one who sees first, who hears first, who fires first. Late afternoon, August 17, the patrol entered the rubber plantation. Straight rows of trees planted during the French era made movement easier. Suddenly, the point man stopped, a raised fist. The entire patrol froze. Fresh footprints on the ground, tire rubber sandal marks. Not 2 or 4, but dozens. The soil was still soft, only minutes old. The sergeant understood immediately. The enemy was not 4 kilometers away. The enemy was here. From this point there were 3 options: call it in on the radio, set an ambush, or withdraw. He chose a 4th option: follow the tracks. Because if those tracks led to one place, And there would not be just 20 or 30 soldiers. There would be hundreds, and if they could find the exact location, then artillery could do what bullets never could. All night for 14 hours, the patrol moved less than 2 kilometers. Stop, listen, move. The jungle spoke. You just had to know how to listen. Dawn, August 18th. They had arrived 150 meters away. More than 600 Viet Cong soldiers' voices cooking fire, cigarette smoke. The 6 Australians did not open fire. They chose to observe. Maps were marked mortar positions, ammo dumps. Then the radio came out. Fire mission priority target at Nui Dat base. The guns came alive. 649 ranging round correction fire for effect 652. The jungle exploded. Shells landed every few seconds. Shri bursts, white phosphorus, secondary explosions. Ammunition dumps, detonated mortar, cooked off. Thousands of rounds ignited. In fire 14 minutes, just 14,706 ceasefire silence returned. Later it was confirmed. 245 killed, more than 350 wounded. Battalion combat ineffective. Australian casualties 06 went in, 6 came out. The Viet Cong later said the jungle attacked U.S. After this day, Australian patrols became ghosts in the jungle. And the most important thing, they did all of this without firing a single bullet. Because in the jungle, victory does not come from bullets. Victory comes from seeing, and the one who sees first has already won.